Hello, this is Todd Luck, and this is a year-end review for my channel for 2021. So this channel is basically just devoted to whatever I'm interested in. And this year, I've actually been inspired to do a few more videos than I was planning. And, you know, I've gotten a lot of requests to do stuff, especially the Tarzan videos. And so, you know, mainly it's been focused this year mostly on Tarzan, Edgar Rice Burroughs stuff, and then also Masters Universe, because we had a big year with the toy line and Revelation and all this stuff. I'm continuing to do the reviews of the American Mythology Edgar Rice Burroughs comics, and they are amazing this year. They have never been better. I highly recommend them. You may notice that I haven't done a review of those issues in a little bit because they've been delayed. The next issues that would come out are Pellucidar Across Savage Seas #3 and Beyond the Furthest Star, Warriors of Xandar #3. I'm not sure when they're coming out. I'm definitely keeping an eye out for them, and I will definitely post a review of them when they do. That's why I'm still doing issue by issue reviews, just because it's so hard to tell when these comics come out. I mean, even if you look on Diamond's own website, Diamond Comics is the distributor for comics in America, they'll oftentimes have false shipping dates on there. They'll say, like right now, if you look on there, it probably says they've already shipped back in November. They didn't. If you ever get confused by this, go on Comixology. If Comixology has a comic book, that means it came out. If they don't, that means it did not ship. American Mythology is going through a transition because their editor, who also wrote the Edgar Rice Burroughs comics, Mike Wolfer, he has left the company to actually work for Edgar Rice Burroughs Incorporated. And so I don't know if that has anything to do with the delays, but there is definitely a transition going on. Beyond the current series, which again have 2 issues a pop left to ship, there is a reprint comic for Beyond the Furthest Star that has been solicited, and that's going to reprint the old Marvel stuff. And then for March, they've already solicited the next Monster Men miniseries, so you can go ahead and pre-order those. And beyond that, we finally got a Tarzan-related comic that was not a alternate reality story and or a crossover in the form of Jane Porter. This was done on Kickstarter. It's been my highest honor to review this ahead of time. They gave me an advance copy in the form of a PDF to review and actually use my video on the Kickstarter page, which was tremendous. It's a good, wonderful, solid comic, but if you missed out on it, they're currently working on a much longer story. There'll either be a graphic novel or a miniseries called Jane Porter and the City of Fire, which I'm sure is going to make this pale in comparison. But I am so glad to see, you know, new stuff done with the Tarzan family, because it's been 20 years since we've gotten an in-continuity Tarzan story. And, you know, hopefully that means at some point we can get something with Jane's husband, right? Tarzan, because, you know, he's pretty well known. He's more well known than a lot of the other characters that you're going to see on the comic book shelves. So it would be great if we could get some comics of him other than just random crossovers every once in a while. I did review Tarzan Gru, or I'm sorry, Gru Tarzan, that came out this year, because of course Gru is more well known than Tarzan, isn't he? I don't know, but I did do a review of the first issue and the miniseries as a whole, so you can look those up if you're interested. And I started to do a lot of Tarzan videos. I gotten some requests for those, and I got more requests when I started doing them, and it was a lot of fun. I did some movie reviews. I've done some comic reviews in comic reading guide video, and I also did some show reviews, including a few videos on Tarzan the Epic Adventures from the 90s, which is one of the things that helped get me into Tarzan. And that was really great. I wish I'd done it before Joe Lara died, but, you know, I'm glad I did, because it was a really great experience to kind of go through all of those episodes and kind of take the notes and kind of put it together for a review and stuff. And I will definitely be doing a lot more Tarzan stuff in the new year. And so the next couple videos I'll be doing will be an overview and checklist of the silent movies that started the Tarzan movie franchise. And this is the most faithful era of Tarzan movies ever done. These were actually based on the novels. And I'll be doing a video just kind of giving you an overview of that and kind of a preview of reviews I'll be doing of each one of those movies. And then I'll also be doing an overview of a bunch of the Tarzan the Epic Adventure toys I've got, and I did a kind of a shopping spree on eBay to kind of fill in the holes in my collection, and I'll be doing reviews on that and kind of giving you some tips, in that little video. I'll be showing you what I got to kind of tease those reviews. And there'll be plenty of other like little miscellaneous Tarzan videos, like I'll finally review this comic book that's over my shoulder, adapting Tarzan of the Apes and stuff like that. So look forward to that. And I've done some Masters of the Universe videos this year because it's been such a big year for that franchise. And I got such a great response off of this videos I did, especially for Revelation. A lot of love, a lot of support. I really appreciate it, guys. Obviously, Revelation is currently over. The first season has been completed. Don't know about a second season yet. We will see. I'll probably definitely do some videos, if stuff's announced about Revelation, a DVD comes out, updates on the toy line, just cause it's such a mystery about, what's going to happen with the distribution. Will we be able to get it off the shelf? Like I was able to do for Christmas, I was able to actually go into Target and get new figures off the shelf. Is that going to happen in the new year? And just a funny little update to that. I went to the Target in my city that's a little further away from me. We have two Targets, and this is the other one I don't normally go to. And they had sold through practically all of their Masters of the Universe figures, except they had some left over, Origins Skeletor and a Masterverse Skelegod, and that was it. They, of course, had vehicles left over, and to my surprise, they had the Wind Raider, which I'd never seen on store shelves. But then when I was walking out of the store, I saw this end cap filled to the brim with Wind Raiders. Maybe this is the reason I haven't seen them on store shelves. This one Target in Winston-Salem, North Carolina, somehow got all of the Wind Raiders that should have gone to the other stores. Obviously, Wind Raider has been available for months. Most of us ordered it online, and my apologies to this poor Target that got stuck with all of these old vehicles that should have gone to other stores. If I had to sum up toy distribution in 2021 with one word, it would be chaos. Hopefully that will be dealt with and get better in the coming year. If I had to sum up 2021 overall in a single word, that word would be challenging. I thought getting into a pandemic was hard. Getting out of it is even harder. It has been a lot of work this year. I work for a county government. I'm a communication specialist, and county governments run your local health department. Your local health department is a huge part of the push to get the majority of the population vaccinated against COVID-19. I had a tremendous increase in my workload for most of the year. And on top of that, I've also been dealing with some physical issues with like my shoulders and my neck and things like that. They just haven't been right for practically all year. And I ended up with like several chiropractor visits a week and then several physical therapy visits a week. And now I'm doing like this big exercise routine every day. And it's just been really time consuming. And it's been harder to balance my spare time, my leisure time. That's one of the reasons why I'm sticking with this format for most of my videos, because it's just easier than if I have to put a bunch of recorded clips or a bunch of photos together that I talk over. Here I'm just, talking into a camera and putting those clips together, which is much, much faster. I also haven't been writing on my comic book plots. That's been kind of my hobby for the last few years. I'm reworking some plots for superhero stuff I had back in high school, and I've really enjoyed doing that. I have been doing it every day, and it kind of tapered off a little bit. I'm still doing it probably at least once a week. Sometimes, I am getting back into almost every day now. But it's been some really, really good stuff. I don't know if, I'd ever publish it. It's mostly just, for my own enjoyment right now. And I said last year that a lot of stuff I was writing was coming true, and that's more true this year than ever. I'm in a period in the story where the country's in a state of unrest. I'm exploring themes of extremism and how people with good intentions are radicalized and things like that. And, that's basically kind of what January 6th was all about, the Capitol riots. It was the most shocking but least surprising day in American history. The deadliest thing in the world isn't a weapon, it's not a bomb, it's not a gun, it's not some fictional superpower you can come up with. It's lies that people believe. Every bad thing in history begins with a lie that the people believed, whether that's the Holocaust, the Spanish Inquisition, the people who died because they refused the COVID-19 vaccine. When you can weaponize ignorance and fear, it is an extraordinarily powerful thing. And it's easy to get discouraged. I mean, I've definitely had my dark moments this year, my disappointments in humanity. But, at the end of the day, I think sometimes the people who speak the loudest don't represent the majority of us. Most of us aren't like that. Most of us aren't spreading hateful conspiracy theories. Most of us do believe in science. Most of us did get vaccinated. Most of us are doing our part to try to make this world a better place and protect ourselves and protect each other. And it's been my highest honor this year to work with people that I can say, without exaggeration or hyperbole, help save the world. Delta is, of course, much more contagious than the original COVID-19, and the vaccine, while it does reduce transmission and your chance of getting it, what it really, really does is prevent you from getting a more severe case of it and ending up in the ICU or possibly dying. And so when Delta came along and was very strong and had spread around, it was doing it among the unvaccinated population, which, was probably, depending on your area, hopefully that's probably half your population or less. Like right now, we've got about 70% of our adult population vaccinated, so that tremendously helps. If Delta had access to 100% of the population, especially those vulnerable individuals who are highly likely to have a severe case or possibly lethal case of COVID-19. I mean, I can't describe to you the casualties that would occur. I mean, the death rate would be so much higher, and most likely we would be in a very, very, very long shutdown just to try to keep the hospitals from being overwhelmed. And the vaccine rollout has just been amazing to witness. I mean, I've literally been there, went right after they got the vaccines in. I've seen these mass vaccination sites, and they'll go out to churches and community centers and axe throwing leagues and just any place you can think of, Christmas for the city, whatever it is. I got folks out there doing the vaccinations, and it's been really great to see everyone just come together, roll up their sleeve, and get this shot. And I really want to thank all of the nurses and doctors and volunteers and public health workers and everybody. I mean, these folks have been, drawing the vaccine out of the vials so much that, their hands would ache when they would get home. Working overtime, weekends, nights, days, you name it, to get 70% of the adult population in my county vaccinated, and hopefully a whole lot of that population vaccinated where you live. I mean, for the public health and medical communities, this has been the equivalent of going to war. This has been suiting up and storming the beaches of Normandy. And I think they've all done a tremendous, tremendous job. And I want to thank every single person involved. And not just, the folks who do the vaccinations, but there's a whole lot of other people who have to make the computers they use to like log in and make sure you got your vaccination or you got the right vaccination and stuff. All that stuff needs to work. And so there's a lot of logistics that go into it too. And there's just a tremendous amount of people and a lot of work that went into this massive, massive vaccine rollout. And I don't know when this is going to end. There's going to be a point at which our ability to fight COVID catches up with its ability to mutate. I don't know when that will be, hopefully next year. Until then, if you have high transmission in your community, which you probably do if you're in America, please wear your mask when you're out in public places, indoors, and get your vaccine if you haven't already. I mean, it is safe, it is effective. I've had all my shots. Most likely everyone has had all their shots. Every politician, local, all the way up to the presidents have had it. So it is safe, it's effective. You can just, use your common sense. If you don't believe all of the medical data, just go ask someone who had it, what it was like. We all got into this pandemic together and we're all going to get out of it together. I think, there's better times to come. All right, well, that's all my ramblings. Like and subscribe for more videos. And until next time, good journey.